What up? Back at it again. We talking about free agents, boy, in NASCAR after this season. I know a lot of people just clicked off of this video because I'm talking about NASCAR again. I'm not sorry. It's what I love. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about all the free agents who are going to be looking for rides after this season of NASCAR. And I'm going to start with the number 2 car, Brad Keselowski. Right now he's at Penske Motorsports, and at the end of the season he's going to be a free agent. And honestly, I think he's going to go to Stewart-Haas Racing. And I think him and Clint Bowyer are going to swap rides, basically. I think Clint Bowyer is going to go to the 2 car, and I think that Brad Keselowski is going to go to the 14. I think that's honestly what's going to happen. That way, Brad Keselowski stays with Ford, because I know Ford really wants to keep him on that payroll. And I think Clint Bowyer, he finishes well. He finishes in the top 10 a lot of the time. You know, he's not a bad driver. He just can't really win a race. So I see him probably moving to Penske, because Penske recognizes the fact that, you know, he is good. He just doesn't win a lot of races. I think Penske will probably take that chance on him, that he's probably going to be able to pull out a few wins for him. So I think basically, because Bowyer, his contract is also up at the end of 2020. So I think that it's a perfect time for those two to swap rides, because I know Brad Keselowski's had it with Penske. He's had it with Joey Logano. But the third Penske driver, Ryan Blaney, his contract's also up at the end of 2020. And I know I think he's the number 2 front runner to take the 48 car when Jimmy Johnson retires at the end of this year. I don't see Ryan Blaney going anywhere. I think Ryan Blaney will stay at Penske. I know that him and Penske have had some disagreements in the past. I talked about yesterday with the pit crews switching up in the middle of the playoffs. I know Blaney's team was not fucking happy about that. I think those differences are behind them, and I think Blaney will end up sticking through it with Penske, and I think he'll end up re-signing with Penske at the end of 2020, because I think Blaney has a lot to prove, and I think he wants to prove that he can win with Penske, and he can win. Next, Clint Bowyer. I already stated I think Clint Bowyer is going to go to Penske and take the 2 car. After Clint Bowyer, it's Corey LaJoie. I don't really see Corey LaJoie going anywhere or making any big moves. Right now, he's at the Go Fast Racing, FAS Racing. I don't really see him going anywhere. And I think if he does move, he's going to move to a small team, and I don't think he's going to make a big splash anywhere. I mean, he's a decent driver. Don't get me wrong, he's a decent driver. It's just that that team just isn't very good. So I think he'll stay there and he'll try to prove himself a little more. So I don't see Corey LaJoie going anywhere. Matt DiBenedetto, a new guy in the 21 car, I don't see him going anywhere. It's just going to be his first season with the Wood Brothers, and I know for a fact that Matt DiBenedetto has great respect for the history of the Wood Brothers, because Wood Brothers, I think, are like the oldest NASCAR team that's still around. I know they're one of the oldest. I think Matt DiBenedetto is going to want to stick it out with them, because I know the Wood Brothers is really trying to make a splash again. And I know DiBenedetto is going to want to stick it out with them and really try to get them back onto the, basically being one of the big teams. Another driver who I think is not going to go anywhere after the end of 2020 is Alex Bowman. He's right now in the number 88 car, so he's driving for Hendrick Motorsports. And Hendrick Motorsports is one of the biggest names in NASCAR. And Bowman has gotten better every single year. So if they don't re-sign, if Hendrick just chooses not to re-sign Bowman, I think they're making a big fucking mistake. Bowman has gotten better every single year, and he's very young. Like, Hendrick Motorsports is a very young team. It's really weird, because it used to be one of the oldest teams. But Hendrick has a lot of young drivers, and I really don't see them making a lot of changes. Except for one car, Jimmy Johnson, who's retiring. And that brings me to another person, Kyle Larson. He drives for Chip Ganassi Racing right now in the 42. And I think he is going to move to the 48 car. I know that he has been pretty happy with Chip Ganassi. He's been able to compete for a championship, and I think he's made the playoffs, and he's made a run at the championship for every single year he's been with Chip Ganassi. And I know last year he almost made the championship for it and fell just short. But I see him going to the 48 car. Most because, like, if you look at Chip Ganassi and you look at Hendrick Motorsports, Hendrick, I mean, their equipment is almost the same, and I would say Hendrick is a little better. And I think Kyle Larson is going to really want to get on a bigger team and really try to capitalize on this opportunity that he's going to have. I think Chip Ganassi is... I don't think they're going to find someone as good as Kyle Larson to fill that ride, but I think that they're going to be doing just fine without him. And I don't see Chip Ganassi really falling off the radar without Larson, because they still have Kurt Busch, and they're still a pretty high market team. So I think Chip Ganassi is going to do just fine without Larson. I think Larson's going to move into the 48 car. And the last, but not least, is Bubba Wallace with Petty Motorsports. This one is interesting because of the fact that there's a lot of rumors and a lot of whispers going around that there's going to be another manufacturer in NASCAR very soon. And there's rumors that it's going to be Honda. Now, for those of you who don't know, Honda is a major player in basically every other big motorsport, worldwide sport besides NASCAR. Honda is all over F1. Honda is all over IndyCar. Honda is all over motorcycles. Like, Honda is everywhere but NASCAR. And I really think Honda is going to make a massive push, and they're really going to try to push for a spot in the NASCAR spotlight. And I think Petty Motorsports is where they're going to try to make their biggest splash. I think Bubba Wallace knows this, and I think that's why he's going to stay in the 43 car at Petty Motorsports. And I think there's some rumors that Petty and the Andretti family are going to join forces, because I know Andretti wants to move into the NASCAR game, but only if Honda comes with him. And I know Honda wants to be in NASCAR. So if that actually happens, which I would be leaning towards it probably will, I think it'd be really cool to see a fourth manufacturer in NASCAR. I think it will be implemented, and I think it will be Petty and Andretti Motorsports, or however the fuck they want to call it. And I think Bubba Wallace is going to stay there. Anyway, those are my thoughts. If you agree, let me know. And who is going to be the biggest move at the end of the season? I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fucking fun. If the Clash was any hint of what this NASCAR season is going to be like, I think it's going to be fucking great. Because these drivers are already racing like it's fucking playoffs. And it's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to go. Bye.